Okay. Just about ready to get going here. Hello. Welcome everybody to Micho's stream. Today we are getting back on that Daggerford grind. Oh, what's up, Tal? Lurking in the chat. Hey, buddy. Good morning. Yeah, I see you. Tis a dreary day where the sky is gray and the ground is a complexion of muddled greens and strong browns. It's quite the menagerie of color in my neck of the woods. Let's see. But this is essentially what winter is like until it's winter. Purple prose. I love alliteration. I use it when I roleplay. I use it when I'm a dungeon master. I use it when I world build. I use it when I write. I use it for names. I use it when I do poetry, when I write songs. Oh my gosh, the alliteration. It's my favorite wordplay. I don't know why, it just tingles me the right way, you know? Purple prose is a flowery and ornate writing that makes a piece of text impenetrable. It is characterized by long sentences, multi-syllabic words, excessive emotion, and a plethora of cliches. Yeah, so I guess that is kind of my description. I could have cut it short with 3 words, but I decided to go in on it. Is it prose, like with an accent on the E, or is it prose? Because, I feel like I'll use that term in the future. Let's see. Gren, Longhand, we were doing the flotions, but I don't feel like I had any breakthroughs. Prose, no X. Okay, prose. I don't want to bring it up and then mispronounce it and feel like I'm saying a cool word, but I don't. But I'm saying it wrong. Nice. You're always teaching me all these cool little tidbits, Tal. You're very very intelligent person. It's gonna be a lot of fun to use. Just use it carefully. Yeah, I could see that being, even a bit melancholy or mundane, even if you were to use it all the time, right? It's alright, you're just bringing the mood down. Cooldown. Corbus. Runs a shop. I already have him somewhere. Yeah, he runs Corbus Jewelry. He's an old gnome. Alright, let's see where he lives. Corbus Bright Jewel. Alright, get our D&D Google. Forgotten Realms fandom. We know he's in here. Boom. He was the owner and proprietor of Corbus Jewelry and Fine Ornaments. An expert jeweler, could easily have found work at higher class venue of Waterdeep, but preferred the life that could only be found in a small town. He was also an expert at identifying gems, magical or otherwise. He lives right behind the harvest house. When you catch an adjective, kill it. No, I don't mean utterly, but kill most of them. Then the rest will be valuable. They weaken when they are close together. They give strength when they are wide apart. An adjective, habit, or a wordy, diffuse, flowery habit once fastened upon a person is a hard to get rid of as many other vice. Mark Twain. Is that a purple prose? It sounds like one. Of why not to? Is very straightforward. Yes, yeah, it is. And so, like, honestly, like, since I've been in my world build and I've been kind of like just in that mind state, I've been watching a lot of shows and like animes and animated films. A lot of them with a medieval setting, etc., just for like inspiration and such. And there's like just like a vernacular of that old time, which is just, it's very hard to incorporate into your speech. And I feel like that's one of my lesser facets as a dungeon master, is like the ability to like talk Shakespearean-ish, or like just in that medieval term, or just change my vernacular to something that is much older. And I think I can increase that if I want to put some time into it. At Anne Rice, she has a bad tendency towards purple prose. Well, I feel like purple prose is, I feel like it's redundant. I feel like it's like, again, it's a tool that can be used, but you got to see what this tool is. This tool is a very long, drawn out, over explained, sometimes contradictive explanation, right? It's grand. So I could see it being used in a sense to give a character some sense of like grandeur, or just like a monologue. Maybe it could be used for a description of something, but if it's used around every corner and it's a tool that you pull out of your toolbox so frequently, it's just going to be redundant, and it's just like, eh. Word. The iambic pentameter. I've learned a bit about that in my college acting classes. And I've been like, I'm on the fence about ChatGPT. I'm just like, I don't want to... I'll be honest. I just don't want to use it. I want to get better. You know, I want to be able to just do it on my own accord, role-playing with improv. I don't want to have to read off of... I hate reading off a script. The only reason I'm a dungeon master is because I can do homebrew. I would never do modules. I hate modules. I can't. I'm not I don't read that much. And clean it up, or you could write something and then have it rework it into an iambic pentameter, right? Word. Maybe I'll think about it just like in the future for some stuff, but like I really don't want to like have to filter everything through ChatGPT, and just I'd rather be bad at something and practice and learn it and get better at it, so that I don't have to, use a GPT. And you can do it yourself. Interesting. Well, I mean, maybe. I mean, also the other thing is like, or two things, right? I could use this for like specific characters, like say a bard that I wanted to stand out with their writing and what things that they say. And something I envy about, like say watching The Witcher or watching any type of media with a bard, is when they speak, they have the ability to have a pre-written script, and they can have these really poetic responses, and the character can just like speak in poetry. But in real world, like as an actual person, improv wise, it's so hard to speak like that, and it's something I envy. And like I tried to pull it off as the bard, but it's just really hard to do it. So I feel like it's something that possibly could help me tie those two ideas together. Feel to them. Yeah, I used to read Shakespeare. I used to do it. When I was in college, all the theater we did was Shakespeare. I kind of low-key hated it because I'm not big into Shakespeare. I like musical art. But I just kind of committed to it and did the dang thing because I had to for my grade. Yeah. Well, I'm not against writing scripts. I have written scripts for myself. I hate reading off of other people's scripts, and I don't like having to read a book to tell the story for the party, right? The way my brain works is if I think of it and I sit here and piece all these pieces together, then like it's already there. I just need to speak. It just comes out. However, it comes out with my vernacular and it comes out with my so it's working out to change this filter right here. And again, like you said, practice, right? I have such a passion for DMing now. Like I envy you and your 20 years of experience. I want to be there, right? When I'm 40, 50, I'm going to be freaking the OG, right? So I can't wait to kind of get all that experience under my belt and learn how to be that. So Corbus doesn't have much written on him. Gnome old, Watergate or water deep. However, he preferred smaller city. So what are you running something right now, Tal? Do you have a current campaign that you run? Is it homebrew? Do you run a campaign in 5e lore? Do you do just, some people just do just modules, like module to module, do like the old school D&D way? I only need to click that once when I want to copy it. Gotta save my clicks. I only get so many clicks these days. Was a pathetic dwarf from Daggerford. We love it. Ulkin was a pathetic dwarf rogue inhabiting the city of Daggerford in Western Heartlands. Ulkin did not let his lack of basic dexterity prevent him from attempting to earn a living as a thief. His home was located along Timora in north central Daggerford. I think we found my first thug. The Nemorian Apocalypse. Cool. I'm doing, this one here is a 1 to 20 for Daggerford. I'm working, when I get back to Dungeon Alchemist and map creating, I'll begin finishing, we're doing a tier 1 module. That's kind of like a trial and error sandbox to teach DMs and players how to be in a homebrew campaign. Something with a little bit less, pathing. It's based in a college setting. It's pretty cool. Actually, I have a lot. If you go on my YouTube, you can check out most of the work. Most of my streams are posted of the construction of the Lyceum College. So, he lives right behind the Harvest House, though. So let's figure out where this dude lives. I guess we gotta go to Corbus too. 100 and 101. Hi, Lewis. I'll let you out, Lewis. Or I'll let you in, Lewis. 100, 101. Yeah, right next to here. Right next to, who is that? Philavander. So this dude can't be, like, too broke. Come on. Get in here. And dude lives next to... Alright, Lou. Come on. Okay. It's not like the most destitute of street corners either. It's right next to the church. So, I guess the dude's gonna be... I guess he could be jailed up. He could have got. Mid to late 14th century, dwarfs live for a couple hundred. So he would be alive. There's good guys. Hey, Stinks. What's going on? No problem. No rush over here. You got a backstage pass now. Backstage pass for you, Fig Tree. All stuff that doesn't need to be brought up right now. I need to figure out what I want to do with this dwarf. This pathetic dwarf thief. End quote. A pathetic dwarf rogue. My problem is if he's a pathetic dwarf rogue, he's level 1. He was level 1, say, maybe 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago-ish. So what has happened in that period of time is kind of like the question I'm asking. Like what is Ulkin's life? And I'm kind of just like, I just like try to like sit in his shoes for a little bit and just think. And normally it just comes to me. And I just pick something. Fair words, Tal. So, I mean, maybe he's, because he's neutral evil. He could have worked for the Thieves Brotherhood. I feel like I have too many components of the Thieves Brotherhood. Maybe he runs his own little group of thugs, but like he'd be really old. That's a long while. 20, 30 years of thuggery. Klingon High Council, however briefly. Quark. It's also, isn't that like the size of a molecule? Is it the smaller version? A quark? Yeah, what do we want to do with Ukin? I mean, also, and like my other thing is, it's like if he sucks, just put him in the jail. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna jail him up. He does work for the Thieves Brotherhood, but he's jailed up. He sucks. Like he's the one that got, and he's inside, and maybe that could eventually be like, I don't know, like a quest for my party if they want to work with the Thieves Brotherhood. Yeah, see? I was right. Tal, you're so smart. You're like one of those people that just knows things. Who's also a character from Deep Space. Subpar thievery, right? So like maybe like in and out. I mean, it could be an in and out type deal, angry. I think that's a fair idea. So he doesn't have to be currently locked up. The only caveat on this, Meatballs, is like kind of location wise. So we're up in we're in the farmer's quarter, so it's not an affluent corner necessarily. Quarter, I should say. House 100, right on this corner. Or is he 101? Yeah, Ukins is 101. So yeah, so he's right on this corner here. So it's like, if he has been in and out of jail, and like, would he have this big of a house on the corner right next to the harvest house, the temple to Shantea? Like, maybe? And then like the maybe gets like thrown away when you look at who's also next to him, his neighbors. We got Corbus Brightjewel, who's one of the premier jewelers in town, praises gems of magical value and mundane. Like, dude definitely makes money. But he's probably a single gnome who lives by himself, because I do know at his place of business, in the basement, there is housing. So maybe, like, the extent of his family lives at the shop. And he just, in his old age, was like, I need some quiet, so I got this small house around the corner. So it's not necessarily an affluent house, but it's definitely not like a dilapidated building, right? And then, of course, we go to Philvander, who's a descendant of the Flotians, which is a sun and moon elf tribe from the RD Forest, who like is like a old royalty, right? So fallen royalty. So it's like, and Philvander currently I've placed as the lead ranger of the Heralds and Runners Guild. Like he's, so again, wouldn't have like a very affluent house, but definitely wouldn't have a dilapidated building, you know? So like I feel like this street corner itself warrants more than Ulkin can offer. And so like that makes me want to be like, all right, just put him in the clink and call it a day. You can't save a fish from water. Maybe he's a holdout for a developer. Like he's there just like holding the place. And that's so Thieves Brotherhood too, right? Maybe there's some story to that. What would they be trying to do over there? Won't sell it, won't fix it. And everyone's just like, oh, this freaking dude. Oh, I kind of like that figure. That's a good one. Semaphore? What's a semaphore? I kind of like that. Why am I being so stupid? The answer's right in front of me, Fig. Who lives immediately next door to Ulikin? Corvus Brightjewel. Corvus Brightjewel is a very wealthy jeweler Maybe they're squatting this house in an attempt to break into Corbus's house to maybe get a key to his back room to steal all of his jewels and stuff. I feel like I don't want to have them messing with the other big factor here is 95, which is, excuse me, the other big factor here is 95, which is Shantaea's temple. We have 104 and 105. Shalendra Daryl and Marovina. Let's see who these people are, and maybe this will be the answer to our problem. So, like, a lot of times on my channel, you know, I say the story writes itself. You just gotta do a little research, dig around, see who's there. Oh, we have another Flotion. Another Sun Elf. It's pretty interesting. The Flotion family is like Sun Elves and Moon Elves have like met. Was a Sun Elf and 1486, so she still lives here. Oh, this is her. I thought she was the bad guy. She was always attracted to the portal nexus connecting our deep forest to Evermeet that her family surveyed in 1370. She was a cavalier in training, not yet accepted into the house of the ducal lord. During a trip to Evermeet, she joined Eldreth Vulthra. She left Daggerford in a disagreement with her father, Darfin, the rightful heir and inheritor of what's that place called? The Flotion Estate. Her father went back only around 1445 when her grandfather died. Only in 1485, however, Shalandra met again her brother Darfin. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she defects and she betrays the family. Shortly before 1485, Shalandra was investigating the ruins of a fallen portal when she was approached by a pit fiend, Bazka, who had been attracted by her bitterness and burgeoning evil. Bazka convinced her to make a deal with the Red Wizards of Thay to reconstruct the portal using her knowledge and their resources. In truth, Bazka was using Shalandra as a contingency plan in the likely event that he was betrayed by the Red Wizards. Shalandra established herself in Flotion Estates, using its wards against intruders, and started working with the Red Wizards of Thay. In the end, however, an adventuring party defeated the Thayans and redeemed Shalandra. After recovering, she vowed to make amends for all her mistakes, to fight the Red Wizards until they were expelled from Daggerford, her home in Daggerford. Okay, so she's a good person now. Okay, so I'm glad I got to read this, because this is kind of one of the Flotion story is hanging on a precipice for me. I don't know where it's gonna go, and I need more pieces. So this really helps. So she's here. Her brother lives here. She lives here. Who's 105? Does she exist? Yes! A druid of Shantaea. Okay. Oh, baby. Oh, dang. Check it out. Okay. The farmers and I share a common bond with the natural world, and we both serve the grain goddess in our own way. So I believe she's our high priestess. Let's go. We found her. Kind and soft soul who radiated internal peace and was happy with her place in life. She had long black hair. Female human. Oh. She was 70 in 1370. She's dead. It's 1500. She's dead. Alright. Killing her off. Because I don't feel like a high priest would, like, have a family. Would they? Maybe. It is the Shantea house, so I don't think they'd, like, be opposed to it. And I believe... who's 94? Yeah, I already signed the high priest. Fig, you remember this one? Oh, Cooldown Sweetgrain. I gave him a last name. Cooldown Sweetgrain is now the high priest of the Shantea Harvest House, not Marovina. Marovina dead. Her house empty. Shalendra Darrell. I need a color for Flotions. Because this is a story that needs to be interwoven, and I need to be considerate about it. I need to be... what's the word I'm looking for? Let's see... I think I have another one up here. Okay. I've been bid to Google optical telegraph. An optical telegraph is a line of stations, typically towers, for the purpose of conveying textual information by means of visual signals. The semaphore optical telegraph. You've used the word semaphore before. It was invented by the Chappé brothers in France. The primary inventor first called this device the tachygraph, which writes fast. It was eventually renamed the telegraph, that which writes at a distance, by the French army, who used the semaphore telegraph system for coordination in battle. The etymology history of this technology suggests that it enabled major breakthroughs in both speed and geographical reach for short-form, long-distance, text-based messaging. Interesting. So it's like hand signal. It's like sign language, but with this machine. Towers are roughly 25 kilometers apart. Interesting. Oh my god, I imagine it's like a 25 kilometer domino effect, right? Where it's like one person puts it in and they start on letter A, B, C, and then A, B, C, and they're still typing, and it's like this domino effect. Wild. So I guess, yeah, the question remains is what is he holding out for? Do they want this building? What do they want this building for? I think and the other thing I gotta remember, it's been a long time. So it's been... There's Ukin. Don't go back, I just found them. It's been like somewhere around. I mean, I guess it could be fairly recent. Because mid to late, I've used mid to late as like pretty close to my time period. So it could be as recent as I want. So maybe they could have bought this 5 years ago. They could have bought it a year ago. So I think we're gonna go with that. I think that's. Well, not gold in the basement. There's gold literally right next door. You know it? So it's like 101 is Ulikin, and 100 is Corbus Brightjewel, the gnome who owns one of the, a very illustrious business, a jeweler. So there would be a fair amount of jewelry inside this house. There might be a key that gets into the shop. There could be some legendary artifacts. This guy's been in business for a long time. I think that's like, it's right in front of me. Let me see again who's abutting. So I have 2 more houses to check. I have 97 and 98. See if there's any more clues. A Harpel. And the Apothecary, right? 98, 97, 98. So surrounded by 2 Flotians. Could have anything there. Could have connection there. It is. Possibly could be sussing on Harpel's house, but I don't like that one too much because I wrote this Harpel as more of a like fits into society fairly well. But he is a high-ranking member of the Sorcellers Encapsulate, so perhaps the Thieves Brotherhood want information there. Yeah, for sure. And especially a member of the Sorcellers Encapsulate. Or maybe my answer is this. Maybe my answer is all of it, right? Maybe it's because there's 2 Flotians, Corbus and Harpel on this corner. You could maybe ascertain a lot of information from being here all the time. Like, just like maybe Ulikin's always sitting on the porch. But, you know, that kind of strays away from Ulikin's nature of being a pathetic thief. Unless the Thieves Brotherhood said, like, stop doing this and just sit on this porch and do this for us instead. And just be a squatter and gather information. But then that doesn't hold true to his 2 sentences, which I try to hold true to whatever's written in here. Like, it doesn't prevent him from attempting to earn a living as a thief. Like, nothing stops. Like, he's gonna keep being an idiot. They will literally polymorph. the Harpel family is insane. Literally. And I love, like, you're just joking around and like telling me that little piece of information, but that's totally like something I can use for a character description, right? Like, they could be role-playing with Harpel, learning some new necromancy spells, and like, oh yes, I remember that one time my brother turned my sister into a donkey for a week. It was, well, you know, like, he could be a fence. He could be a fence. I've already put a fence in for the Taylors. The Taylors have a money laundering front. They have a fencing front. So those things have been taken care of. This could be like a place to ascertain information. It could be the place for their next job, which is, I think, what I'm closest to. with your next shot. They so like I do have the Scribe's Friendship, which is a library and scroll and magic institution, a legal institution that kind of does any of the legal work for thieves and the Thieves Brotherhood. They're lawyers essentially. So I've kind of tasked them with gaining information and like being like the general rumor mill, as it were. As because their leader, I think it's an S, is really adept in that. So that's just something that I wanted to make special for them. So this could be like an outpost. Like this could be like connected to that. Maybe this is where maybe there's another one posted out there somewhere too. I think I'm gonna table Uykin because it's an opportunity to do something really cool with the story here, and I just want to get through the rest of these characters. Because like if there's another one similar to Uykin somewhere else, then maybe like the Thieves Brotherhood has like supplanted these individual places and these dilapidated houses. They don't give them any money to make the place nice. They give them a monthly fee to live off of, and these guys are jerks, so they're like probably smoking opium and getting drunk and just sitting on the front porch like living it up. All they have to do is just like keep an ear out and not leave that house, right? So maybe there's a few of those that exist. Pascal. So let's move on a little bit. I will put a note there. Ooh, Pascal runs tenements. Love it. Let's see. Robbing Corvus? Question mark. Information for Thieves Brotherhood? Question mark. Squatter. A slimy rogue. So many rogues in this city. I love it. In the mid to late, so we can use them. Male human, we can use them. He owned a boarding house called Pascal's Tenements that was widely used by Daggerford's underworld to avoid the attention from the militia. Pascal himself was believed to live outside of the city, but that was only because no one ever saw him coming or going from his building. His boarding house was located at the intersection of Duke's Way and Farmers Road in central Daggerford. Let's see if we can find old Pascal's Tenements. So I don't have anything scripted down here. Where is it located? Duke's Way, intersection of Duke's Way and Farmers Road. Duke's Way, Farmers Road. So this one or this one? Those buildings? 102 or 108? 51 or 55? Oh. 102. Yeah, it's just that building right there. Perfect. That's a huge building. Who's 96? Empty. I forget who 96 was. And I think I have a tenement building over here too. There'd be multiple tenement buildings. And I kind of like this, like, it already has, like, Pascal has a good personality to him. It's like, where he just doesn't exist. I mean, maybe he could also be affiliated with the Brotherhood, as they are at the... Pascal. He also needs a last name. A network of tunnels. That could also be true if there were other rogues about, and or, you know, like perhaps there's a series of tunnels through the whole city, right? Maybe that's an idea I haven't thought about yet. You know, because the Thieves' Quarter is right here in the middle. And I guess they have their money laundering front over here. A bad tenement here, a bad tenement here. So 1, 2, 2. Like, we could do some type of, like, tunnel system between them, possibly. There is a cistern that surrounds the castle, which I plan on using. So I don't know if I want to have both. There definitely wouldn't be, like, an old sewer system, because this city is A, poor and small, B, has been struggling with a lot of unfortunate events in the past, like, 100 years, 200 years. So, to guard their tunnels, send the sewer ants past. Stop. I guess an idea I can table. I like the idea. I don't like the stepping on toes, right? So I don't want to have 2 sewer systems. I don't want to have those like that interfere, and or like connect. I had high hopes of utilizing the cisterns around the ducal castle in significance. So like as ways to get in, get out, to have maybe multiple dealings, you know, where they need to continuously get in and out of this castle, so they're always going in and out of these sewers. Well, that's where I kind of left. I kind of left on, you know, maybe it's just some tunnels. Maybe it's just a network of tunnels, right? Maybe it's one of the ways that Thieves Brotherhood has gotten ahead. I think it's this in same concept as my Thieves Quarter here, where all these buildings would be connected with secret doors behind bookshelves and secret hallways that kind of connect all 6 or 7 of these buildings, so that when a thief goes through, you know, the Tailors Federation, they can come out of Orev's Clothing Emporium, and that's one of the ways they slip, you know, some of the militia. Plenty of possibilities. I need to take a bathroom break real quick. Be right back. Okay. Alrighty day. Okay. Pascal's human that exists, human old. These tenement houses were widely used by Daggerford's underworld to avoid attention from the militia. I guess it could be a great reason as to why Pascal is never seen. If he does go anywhere, he just travels through the Thieves' Brotherhood. Because if the militiamen find him, they'll get him. Maybe, I don't know. Could very much just write him as like an old dude that's like on his bed, on his deathbed. Yeah, instead, young his son. Let's get some names. Get a name Jenny up there. Pascal Vernusk. Excuse me. Pascal. Pascal Warthorn. Pascal. And Philippe. There we go. Now we know who that is. But instead, his son, Philippe, going on copy 5th floor Pascal. We found bed ridden and being waited on his every whim as he ruled his tournament. Nice. Dude's like on medieval life support. but like calling the shots. And Felipe, it does everything he says. Might add another character in there. Might give Felipe a sister. Ooh, Cleric of Selune. That's it. Just a good dwarf. Zylander. Let's read up on Selune. Moon Maiden. Kind of just skimming over, looking for a tidbit of personality that might denotate what one of her followers or disciples might be doing. It could be a werewolf. Let's see where they live again. 103. Decent sized house. So possibly like they could be, looks like be a werewolf of sorts. A werewolf, and possibly they're out on the. They wouldn't operate in Daggerford. They'd have to leave Daggerford, of course, to eat. And do werewolves even have to eat like vampires do? You know. Let's see. Lots to ponder today. Could also work. Just have a job, possibly. A do we? I don't even think we have a shrine to Selune here. We do not. So it's not like they're running a thing. Faith, where's faith? Goods, foods. Pretty sure it's on the right side. Yeah, temples. There we go. Yeah, there's no temple to Selune here. So this is a very random. Kind of just like a random place, a random dwarf. Like, what is their purpose here? Living up in the farmer's quarter. What is their purpose? Do I just move them out? Relabel this cleric something else? I have jobs. Let's see. The Good Boy Fencers, Tanner Council, the Thinkers Fraternity, Good Guy Legal, Jewelers Congress. I believe it's gonna be Bad Guy Fencing. It might. Oh no, that's clothing. Okay. Merchants Guild. Is Rockland a human? Waterman Circle, Crypt Garden still. Or maybe he runs Crypt Garden. That's totally viable. Zylander. Well, now that he runs Crypt Garden Scrolls, let's look for something that has to do with paper or scrolls. Steelmaker? Could just be Scroll Maker. Zylander, Scroll Maker. Warm Buckle, Snarda, Ember Granite. Scroll Cloak? Storm Cloak? Scroll Cloak? Magic Scroll? Zylander, Magic Zylander, Scroll Cloak, Zylander. Scroll Bringer. Maybe his last name's Crypt Garden. Okay. Oh, I think that's where we'll go with this. Garden. Zylander lives down here. Make them old too. Old dwarf. Red scrolls. There's some descriptions we gotta do. 1, 2, 3. Let's mark them for myself. To-dos. Do, yeah. Well, if that's the case, then things got finished up in that module, and this has all since forth been finished. Oh, and we got like 40 more things to go, and a couple of them are just like whatever's. Rock and roll. The Grand Playhouse. Oh. A couple of these I've already done work on. Landmark located in the city of Daggerford. Here we go, some history. It's one of the largest structures in Daggerford, not surpassing Ducal Castle in size. Nice. Despite its impressive scope, the Grand Playhouse was rarely used for its intended purpose. The entire building was enchanted with a ward that prevented sound from exiting any opening into the structure. This was set in a place by the building's owner in order to prevent non-paying customers from enjoying music and theater for free. Given the number of bloodstains marring the surfaces of the Grand Playhouse interior found after its abandonment, it appeared that assassins and other violent criminals were using the ward for their nefarious advantage. The Guild Playhouse was designed and constructed by Maestro Samus, the rapturous songster, with the intention of bringing culture to Daggerford. Samus recruited the brightest actors and opera singers from much larger cities to perform within the Grand Playhouse, but the citizens of Daggerford showed little to no interest in that form of entertainment. Samus eventually went broke and was forced to close the doors. He left the city shortly after. Interesting. Nice. Welcome back, Stinks. Welcome back. We were just reading about... Did you hear that reading on the Grand Playhouse? Because this place is cool. place is very interesting because it is now empty. So real quick, it's essentially is the Grand Playhouse, which is like an opera theater stage house for music and etc. Ran by a bard who came here to kind of bring culture to Daggerford, right? Kind of bring the theater to the ruffians. But as you've seen, every other cell that I research is literally a thief. This is a town of frickin' vagabonds and scruffed out thieves. They don't care. The people of Daggerford did not care for the music or the theater. However, the building has a very special ward on it that does not allow any sound to exit the building. So therefore, ongoers couldn't, get a free show by listening next to the window. But what in reality happened was a bunch of murderers and assassins just kind of used that place as their staging point because nobody could hear them kill somebody from the outside. This, of course, threw the building into turmoil, and he was no longer successful and therefore had to shortly after leave. So I have an empty building that has a ward on it to protect sound from going in and out of it. What are we going to do with this building? What is happening with this building? We do have some buildings that do need to be moved. Perhaps this is the new jail. Where is it? Let's see where it is. 108. Oh, look at how big it is! It's so big! Government buildings. The jail was 34. How big was 34? Small. How big is 36? Pretty big. Constable, that. That's 31. A boat ride, jail, so it's like much. I'm just like comparing size here. I'll just show you what I'm doing. So I'm just comparing sizes of these buildings, kind of to give me the make-believe answers I think I'm getting. So this 34 was the jail, this small building here. 36 was the constable, which is essentially the sheriff of the town. So you could surmise they had some cells in their building as well, so these two buildings kind of constitute as the jail, right? 108 is friggin' huge. It's the biggest building in the damn town. Damn near bigger than the Ducal Castle, like they weren't kidding. 8, 9, what's 8 and 9? Stables, 9, Mickatan. So stables, Mickatan. What's in 130? I'm looking at all the other big buildings to see if maybe I can move one of them over here into this building. The Guildmaster's Hall. Blacksmith's Guild, the Tanner's Council. I don't want them to be that big, though. Could just be an empty building. Could be an empty building for sale. And that could just be a really cool thing where it's like you could buy a building with a ward on it. And perhaps somebody could move into it after a certain amount of time. Uh, 125. 125. This building. Okay. Yeah, I guess we leave it there, yeah. Full bar, full with really hard cheese. Let's see. It has not so long, within 20 or 30 years, this kind of all happened. So it's mid to late 1400s, so like kind of that's like the perception of like it happened just yesterday. Is kind of like everything that's in that range is like, oh, that just happened, and like you're just part of my story now. To not get too caught up in the ticky-tack of the years. Some events are pretty important, and pretty much anything that is after 1485 is yesterday. So I would put this in as yesterday. So maybe 5-10 years this building has been abandoned, looking for a buyer. Because it's the biggest building in the city, and that's damn expensive. So someone needs to purchase that, and nobody has the money to do that. People that would have the money to do it, I guess that's a good way to look at it. People who would have the money to do it. But why would they want to, you know? Make it tan, but he's got a house over there. One of the tenement lords. I could turn it into a tenement, but that's nobody would dig that as a tenement. And like that's the other question is like the ward on the building, like what is. Yeah, that's why I wouldn't see it as a tenement, because I wouldn't want to live in a building where the building is known for being a great place to assassinate people, you know? Like, that's not a place that is warm and welcoming. I guess, yeah, maybe we could think of a business that has bought it. It's been like 10, 15 years. So maybe 5 years in, somebody bought it. The business didn't last long, or they quickly were vacated from said building. Maybe the Thieves Brotherhood tries to keep propaganda on it going, so that it can stay as an empty building that they can use to, you know, go bring people to kill. I don't want to straight up just put the Thieves Brotherhood in there, because I like them having a little bit more of secrecy. I see them having an underground lair. I see them having a upfront, in-your-face thing, and then I also see them having like a secret lair as well. I guess for now we'll just leave it empty. Elda. Who's Malin? I have a good couple of just like regular house names left too, for people that can fill jobs. Yeah, that's like the propaganda. Like they would just like they would feed into the fear of the building, right? They would make it common, and they would always like say like there's like a selling going on, and like they're auctioning the house, and like they just have a couple people in the crowd being like oh, you know, quite a few people have died in there. And then like next thing you know, like there's like 3 people left at the auction. I guess everybody's left because they're like, we don't want to buy this building. Why would we do that? They kind of like continue to prop up this house for bad omens. A human, mid to late. Oh, okay. Malwyn. Likes solitude, works for the militia. That's my jailer. I have Gren Longhand, works at the barracks. Good. The jailer. Malwyn. Get a name for Malwyn here. Malwyn. Darius Malwyn. Let's see. My business that briefly. Maybe the business briefly bought the house before being escorted, forced out by the thieves. No, I mean, you gotta remember Stink, so it's like, look at this building, look at 108. Like, it's freaking huge, my dude. It's literally like, it's on par with the Ducal Castle. So like a mom and pop wouldn't fit right there, which is kind of the problem I'm seeing, is like this building's so big and so affluent, only a stupid bard from Waterdeep or Baldur's Gate with that type of pocket change would come here and buy this building to put on, like, you know, like that's who bought it, is like this bard who's trying to like make a business out of it, right? So it's like you need to have some big backing. Maybe the Flotians buy it and they all move in, their whole family, but I don't like that because it's a lot of houses that I'm freeing up. I thought maybe the jail could be in there, but I also don't like that. I like the idea of it being available for players or players' use. Perhaps the Duke or the Duchess actually uses it. Perhaps the vacancy is nice for her goings on because she's a succubus and she's got bad things she wants to do. Maybe that's where the Red Wizards of Thay set up their shop in Daggerford. That could be an answer. Could be an answer indeed. Oh, Fig Tree, you gotta catch up. you gotta catch up. there's you can just head on over to my YouTube. Yes. So the main plot of Daggerford is, the Red Wizards of Thay have... First, they started off by coming into Daggerford and releasing chaos and mayhem, with celestial nadirs, which started the turmoil, and then they added all this propaganda to kind of put distrust into the dukes that have been ruling, the male dukes, and they brought up this idea of equality for women, and they're like, why can't a woman be the duke? So the first duchess was put onto the throne via this propaganda. Then after which it was like there was a vampire lord and an undead rising, and I think that was the catalyst for them that was the distraction for them to get into the Duke's castle, capture the actual Duchess, Lady Morwen, and swift her away. In her place, they have supplanted a succubus by the name of Pancheska. And this succubus has been, continuously bringing more turmoil in the name of the Red Wizards of Thay, where she was manipulating adventurers to do things for her. And the last story of her manipulation was she had got this party to go get this iron flask, kind of like in Baldur's Gate, but inside of it wasn't a beholder. Inside of it was Carnasil, the red dragon. And then, of course, Carnasil was released, spread fire on the town, everybody's head dead, yada yada, and then that's kind of where my story starts, is after all that. And pretty much everything I was surmising is modules. Is either module or like D&D board game or card game in some aspect. It's all like a little blend of different types of media and gameplay content that they've created. So, oh, Hoilepa! What's going on? What's brewing? Home's brewing. We are Home's a brewing. So. Where were we? Melon. Darius Melon is my jailer. So yeah, so there's a lot. And I've been posing this question and kind of keeping it on the back burner. Is like, what is the main story to pull from that? What's the story I want to tell inside Daggerford as far as like what's going on? So when the party wants to go and maybe dethrone Pancheska and maybe go rescue Lady Morwen. And kind of the theme that I'm like landing on was like this was pulled from one of the readings of Daggerford. And it was the vampire lord was defeated, leaving the adventurers with foreboding last words. You will never know whom to trust. And kind of this idea or concept of like of gray, of like who on the council is good, who on the council is bad, and nobody can really tell the difference between the two in solving it. So I'm still figuring out that story. Let's see, gotta catch up to Stinks here. So I read that one. Maybe it was bought by Xanathar before he got too paranoid about the myths and decided to just abandon it. I don't want to add another player into my world here. I already got the Red Wizards of Thay, I have the Flotians, I have the Thieves Brotherhood. I don't want to add Xanathar in. Xanathar's like Waterdeep's problem. So like let's let it. So yeah, it's not a bad idea. I don't want to inundate. And I always, it's like one of my main advice for like DMs, like you don't want to throw too much at your players because you'll blur the message you wanted to say or tell. Yeah, man, deep in thought today. A lot of big questions to be asking myself. I think we're just gonna leave the playhouse empty for now. Because, you know, like, low key, I really like the idea, right? Just like really like the concept of the players having the ability to buy that building. You know, like as a player before, like if I was purchasing a building in a city, I'd be like, all right, cool, like there's this big one, there's maybe this one located a bit closer to certain things, and maybe those things would be important. But then there's this really big building that comes with a ward where nobody can hear inside it, you know, like so maybe they want to start their own thieves guild. That'd be a great place to have your own operation, right? But with that being said, if they don't have interest in that building and it's not something that they care about, then I would like somebody else to move in. So I think I want to have something in my back pocket to be like, oh, in like X amount of years, if the players don't care about it, said people move into this. And maybe that could be answered through whichever of the guilds are more successful as like the cards fall. A pupped player BBG control others with brainwashing so the guards can tell the truth, but will also talk to the BBG's will. Guards can so that is true in a sense, Holepa. But is more or less true for like the Duke's Council. So like the Duke's Council will very much be compromised of people who are willingly and knowingly doing bad things for Pancheska. It will be compromised of people who don't know that they're doing things for Pancheska, and it will be also compromised of people who are being forced to be doing things. So like everybody on the council will have their own affliction of like how they're kind of getting the shaft from this supplanted leader. I'm excited to kind of put that together. Yeah, and that's as you see, like the lot list I have here doesn't even go into Ducal Castle. Like it's the last thing on my list. Oh my god. So I have the council here, who Darfin is actually no longer on it. Has been relieved from his duties. Wait, no, I'm gonna leave that there, just in case. That was yesterday's lore, and I don't want to remember something that I'm remembering wrong. Yeah, sure. Go ahead and post. I'll check it on my phone for everybody. If I can find my phone. There it is. Because I'm pretty sure the last thing you posted was was it a paladin subclass? It was fire though. Oh, excuse me. Oh my goodness. I got the burps. Animal Handlers Affiliation. I don't think we need that building anymore. Let's go see what Stinks has for you. Was it a new race? Yeah, new homebrew race. Copy. Paste and go. Ulitharzi? No thanks. See. Long ago, the Empire of the Illithids reigned. They explored and conquered realms, adding to their collection. But as time passed, so did the kingdom, and soon they were lost to time. However, some of these beings decided to stay even after the end of the Empire. Without proper mental sustenance, they adapted to live without it, eventually evolving into what we know as the Ulitharzi. Ulitharzi are a race of humanoids descended from what once were the Illithids. Reduced to mere fractions of what they once were, they retain small fragments of their psionic power, but it's nothing like it once was. Often still somewhat feared due to their appearance, they are pushed to the outskirts of society where they become either master criminals or unsung heroes. Walk speed 30, medium size, AI's whatever, Kazatasha's, dark vision 60 feet, telepathy 30 feet. Okay. First sub-race, Deep Mind, get 120 dark vision, suction pads, climbing speed of 30 feet. Do Force Mind, other sub-race, bonus to your hit point maximum, equal to your intelligence modifier. You can cast a Zephyr Strike. Spell once using this trait, once per day. Doesn't require verbal components, that's cool. I don't like the bonus to your hit point maximum equal to your intelligence modifier unless it's like every level. Because that's like almost pointless. Like 3 to 5 HP only and ever, like that's kind of pointless. If it was like plus your intelligence modifier every time you level up, then it could stack up to something that would be formidable, and it has scaling, you know, so at level 1 or 2, 4 or 5 is pretty good, but like at level 10, 4 or 5 is pointless, right? 50 HP at level 10, whoa, now we're talking, you know, like that could be a lot. Maybe there could be some balancing that comes in mind here. Sea Mind, you can breathe. You get Psycholuminescence. Your head emits light out to 30 feet. And dim light out to another 30. Nice. That's kind of cool. I like it. It's an interesting concept because it's like, here are mind flayers, right? They eat brains. And then it's like, well, what happens if they don't eat brains? You know, what happens if there's like some gift or some illithids that didn't eat brains? So I like it. I think you got some really great ideas, Stinks. I think I've been really, really humbled by my viewers. You all have such really interesting and inspiring concepts. The question that I've been I've been talking to you and back and forth, but like in the back of my brain, my ADD is thinking, do I really want to have 2 veterinaries in this one city, or do I want to just have 1? I'm not crazy, you're crazy. Well, it's a guild hall for ranchers, drovers, and veterinary physicians. Oh, it's guild hall in the city of Daggerford. Do I even want to have that guild hall? So, like, there's a lot of guilds here in Daggerford, and I've already kind of nipped a few of them. Because, like, just for my gameplay, I don't need that many. I think it's a little redundant at that point. And we also have the Council of Guilds, so that's why I got into this kind of this guild play that I'm really interested in. This political guild play is because they have a council of guilds here in Daggerford, which kind of sits as like one person from each of the guilds goes and talks for the guild, and they all vote and weigh for power in the city. And it's like this like democratic process compromised of a bunch of like capitalist leaders that are like really there for their own gain, you know. And it's like, oh well, you need to trade what I need to trade, so we should fight together to get lower rates for us, even though that means not lower rates for those guys, you know. So very, very much that my team, your team, red team, blue team, we don't get anything done for the sake of the people, just our own pockets. And then maybe there's like one or two guilds that are like actually good guys, and they're like, hey, can we maybe think about the people of Daggerford? And they're all like, shut up, we're talking. And then they like go back to bickering over, you know, money and taxes. So it's kind of the vibe I get from the council hall. Like, look at this. Look at there's so many, including, but not limited to, Waterman's Guild, Herald and Runners, Pleaders Consortium, Blacksmith Guild, Merchant Guild, Jewelers Congress, Whitesmith Guild, Tailor Federation, Tanners Council, Physicians Order, Taverns Confederations, Scribes Friendship, Sorcerers Encapsulate, Farmers Society, Animal Handlers Affiliation, the Carpenters League, and likely not self-styled guilds, but the Thieves Brotherhood and the Fences Syndicate. It also included the head of the militia, the Duke's Master of Arms, and the chief to priests of the town's 4 primary religions, Shantea, Lathander, Tempest, and Timora. That's way too many guilds to be having a seat at the table. Way too many. We're gonna nip that down a bit. Though, not the Duchess herself. That's inaccurate. Critical guilds could blame the good guilds constantly so that they can ban them from the council. I don't think they would get banned. I think there's always a seat on the table because, like, it's just representation, right? So, like, if you were to ban, like, it wouldn't... Like, all the people would, like, there'd be a big fuss, right? So if you were to ban, like, the Farmers Guild council member from sitting at the table, all the farmers would go up and strike, and they'd be very upset that they don't have any representation anymore. You know? So, for, like, a brief example, I feel like there will be some more play like that in the background, right? So, like, we might nip the Waterman's Guild leader just because, you know, the next person in line is our friend that we've paid out, right? So that might happen. A possibility. I'm gonna take a quick $5. And where have I left off here? Yeah, do I want a vet? That's a vet guild, so I think I don't want it at all. I can just get rid of it, because I like Mirafe being my veterinary, my centaur druid. She's so cool. I'll be right back. Yeah, all right. Got a little bit more time before we got to go to lunch. And the handler's affiliation. I mean, is it a small building too? 115. It's a small building. This small building, maybe it's just a small little council for the farmers. Maybe we leave it. I think we leave it. It won't operate as a vet. And it's going to be operated by one of the hard cheeses. Because I know the hard cheese family is an old adventurer who came upon a super large trove of dragon treasure. It sits underneath his tavern. He uses it intentionally to lower the prices of his bar so that the regular townspeople can have an affordable place to kind of hang out and have ale at the end of a hard day of work, right? The farmers and the workers. And also doubles as a money lending place for specifically the farmers to get access to cheaper loans. So this dude already with his own money, cares for these people. So maybe it's even him himself, because he's an older cat. Full bar. Who, of course, exists. He's a halfling. Maybe his son, Dickon. Formerly neutral, now good. Neutral good. Chaotic good, maybe. Yeah, Folgan and Lily. Yeah, maybe his son Dickon runs it. Because Fullbar is an old dude. Maybe they run it together. Maybe it's overseen by Fullbar. He oversees all these things and he lets his children do it all. Dickon. And typing is really hard because, man, did they know what they were doing when they made the name Dickon Hard Cheese. Okay. So Dickon Hard Cheese is the guild leader. Let's see. I need a description for Dickon, which I don't have the time nor the mental space to do right now. Even for Darius. Even for Elda. Full Bar has one here. Happy Cow, a new one for the kids too. Ah. There we go, move that over. Vix, we need a write-up for Vix. Our Chandler, just a simple guy who makes candles. Yeah, we also have the Farmers Society, so it's like those two things are going to be the same thing. They're the same thing. Like, why would you separate those two things? Like, damn, do you really need someone who talks for the cows and somebody who talks for the wheats, too? Like, that's... Can't you just talk for the farmers? You can. You will. In my world, we do. We go cater to the duchy's farmers and agriculturalists that served over 200 individuals that lived within town and outside its walls and the surrounding farmlands. Appropriately enough, it was located in the farmers' quarter. As the farmers of Daggerford treated each other as if they were family, their hall offered a strong sense of camaraderie. The hall was essentially a meeting place where farmers could discuss their concerns and share their knowledge with one another. Yeah, so I'm just going to take this, and we're going to work this into the animals. The Animal Federation. Because I think that's redundant. At least, like I said, for my storytelling, that's redundant. And, like, also, it's like, this is, again, like, we have these tools in this box that we keep finding. We found a tool that we found a tool that's the same tool as the other tool, right? So just get rid of one. We only need one of them. Use what you need for what you need it for. And alliteration, we're just going to call it the agriculture affiliation. Farmer Society, empty. Okay. McClure. Love how they all exist. Another thief. Was a gnome. Mid to late, so they exist. They excelled at comprehending languages, and his sense of hearing was finely tuned. He wished to sign on with a local adventuring company, but not venture too far from Daggerford. His home was located on the Farmer's Road, near the Grand Playhouse. Chaotic neutral. Somebody that could be a good guy rogue. Perhaps I could use this person in my general goods. Perhaps they tried adventuring, but it always ended up venturing too far from Daggerford, and he didn't like that, and he came across enough money to kind of set himself up in a house in Daggerford and found trade, selling and teaching people how to pick and open locks, and selling, a menagerie of thieves' tools and general goods, like batons and ropes and stuff like that, at the general warehouse. McClure. thieves' tools. McClure. A gnome. We have a human and a gnome on the general store. I see like 3 or 4 leaders of the general store, and in some sense, like that is what I see. Gnome names. Yeah, it's gonna be some like frilly name. Gold mantle. What do they do? They pick locks. Springlock. It's a cool name. McClure Springlock. McClure Springlock. Kind of sounds gnomey too. Hey, what's going on? McClure Tonin? Where do you see Tonin? Tanan. Tonin McClure? Tonin McClure. That sounds more, if you make McClure the last name, it sounds kind of like Irish or something. It does, right? A little bit. However, I mean, I do know dwarves and, but not just dwarves. Dwarves, gnomes, even Goliaths. Their names like to consist of like actual names like Silverstone, Single Branch, Thistle Bottom, Flitterstep, stuff like that. I don't know. There's a name for what those are called, but I don't know it. Let's see. Spring lock, second. Obtaining a modest haul with his last adventuring party, and he took up shop in Daggerford. Only works as the works. They need to look like something, and we'll put a little note so we know. Cardigan. Like cardigan. I love how they all exist. A human 1370, they're dead. They're an adventurer, they're definitely dead. But they're kind of important. Here we go. Cadogan was once an adventurer and a member of a large adventuring party called Her Majesty's Reconnaissance Team. They were tasked by a crazy noblewoman with recovering family items from Netheril. After the noblewoman died, the adventurers kept the profits they acquired. However, the death of the noblewoman triggered a curse upon the company, and they started dying. One each year. In 1370, only Cadogan and 2 others remained, and he was becoming paranoid. Oh, he dead. Dead. Very dead. Empty house. And again, like there's a little bit of story here that I have the ability to play with if I wanted to like kick a generation down, give his son or daughter an artifact that has a curse on it, and then let that be a story that could be found. But it's too much. It's too small and too inundating. I don't need that. So, bye. Give it an empty. 16. Let's see where we are on the map. 116, 117, 116, 117. Okay, so we're working our way through here. Working our way through the farmer's quarter here. God, I can't believe we made it through all these buildings. We just got this little quarter section here. And also, so this little corner section here, and then the Dukes. The Duchy. And the Duchy will be, I think, easier than I think it is. Like, I only need to write, again, the higher-ups, the important people, the story that's going on in the background, and then everything else below that is just unnamed servants and, you know, stuff like that. Guardsmen, militiamen. And, like, also, like, a lot of these houses will presumably have a family with them as well. Not all the families will be written out in entirety. If one needs be, then great. Again, always, if the players decide it's important, and they're like, hey, we love these guys, and this is a cool house, and I just made up 5 names on the spot, but they really want these names to stick. It's like, alright, here we go, writing into House 106 that this family is A, B, C, and D, you know, like, so... It's not to say it's not going to happen. I'm just not going to worry about it now. The dragon back in. We've researched this before. Or maybe there's a different one. Yeah, because the Daggerford Inn. This is different. Dragon back in. Oh, here we go. I was going to say, give me something. A large building with fieldstone walls to chest height and wooden walls above, supported by thick timbers. The windows were made of dark green leaded glass, and above the door there hung a wooden sign. A dragon's skull hung over the fireplace in the main room, and the walls were decorated with banners and shields. The owner was a heavy-set dwarf with white whiskers and a red nose. It's a dwarf. Did I do something with that other dwarf? Those wouldn't be the same dwarves. An alien, I have a name too. It's not linked on this page, so... Oh, he exists. Mid to late, they're alive and they're not too old. The inn catered mostly to Daggerford's farmers who spent months at a time tending their crops. The Dragonback Inn was located in the northwest corner of Daggerford along State Street. Man, so many adventurers just turn into tavern owners. I love it. Ooh. We love that. You gotta give him a girlfriend and a pet direwolf named Sheba. Drag him back in. And if it's too good, don't rewrite it. Turn the goddamn caps lock off. Being a service dog. No, it's not. Well, I guess maybe if that's the case, yes. Because the job of a DM is to create a game your players want to play. It's not to create this really cool world. It's not to create this game that you want to play. It's not to tell your really cool story to your players. It's not any of that. It's to make a game your players want to play. Like, if your players don't want to do it, you're not going to be able to do it. And you're just going to run into conflicts and problems. So I guess, yeah, you kind of are like a service top in that sense of, like, you don't do anything unless that's what they want to do. And that's it. Like, you like, you can propose things, but, like, only if you're playing, like, a homebrew campaign like this, where there's no walls and it's a sandbox and agency is free. If you're playing, like, a module, totally different. Don't force your DM to go off of the module's train tracks. That's mean. So I guess there is a sense of, yeah, you can play on a railroad, but if you're trying to not play on a railroad, then I guess your sentiment is very true. So I agree with you. But I would like to stress, like, this is an absurd amount of prep to be doing. This is a hobby of mine that I really enjoy and something that I'm challenging myself with. Also, I have so much free time on my hands where I can't play video games and do what I actually want to do as I recover from surgery. So, like, I'm also using this as, like, an out. So it's dual. You know, I've DM'd several one-shots. I've even created one-shots. I've DM'd a couple campaigns, and a lot of the prep is much, much shorter and more concise than this and doesn't need to be as blown up. And honestly, that's why I kind of want to enforce or just, like, draw importance to, like, the point I was just bringing up is, like, don't let, like, the inundation of work prevent you from being a DM. It's one of the things that originally pushed me away from DMing, and I was like, screw it, like, you don't need to do that much, just do this session, just get something on paper, right? Just try anything and call it enough. And a lot of times players are just happy to be at the table with you, and they're just like, hey, you made us dinner tonight. Like, nobody sits down at the table and is like, like, oh damn, you freaking didn't make me a 5-course 5-star Michelin freaking dinner tonight. Like, no, like, oh, you made me freaking just like a meat, vegetable, and a starch. Thanks. You got dinner done. It doesn't taste gross. I appreciate that, like... So, like, a lot of times players are just happy to be there and to have something to play. So, it's both. And, like, I also, like, agree, like, there's a happy medium, because I don't like the idea of showing up and doing nothing. I don't like the idea of not even prepping for your session or not even thinking about your session ahead of time. I feel like that's lazy and irresponsible, right? But also in the same sense, like, you don't have to do a 200-point Excel sheet, 8-page essay for your campaign. Like, like, that's not something that has to be done. So it's finding a happy medium. Having a good group is very important, because I always say, like, as a DM, not even as a player too, like, when you're comfortable in your setting, roleplay is better, you have more fun, the game is better, your thematic is better, everything's better. When people are uncomfortable, those things get really close, the game gets really dry, it gets very dice heavy and just like, oh, let's get to the next room. You know, like I don't want to waste anybody's time by saying something right now, so let's just not say anything and just next room, you know, check for traps, next room, you know. So it's like, it's important to have like solid session zeros. It's important to check in with your party members. It's important to like try to create a friendship. Like, you don't have to hang out every day of the week. That's totally not the case. But like, send messages in your group chat in between sessions to keep things going. Try to, you know, do little olive branches of like, hey, like you had a really good session last week. I really loved role playing with you. You know, like have it come from the heart and be honest. But like, keep checking in with your party mates to keep those good vibes there. You know. And these are all just like, it's really funny because it's like a lot of the advice I give or people will give for Dungeons and Dragons is just like interpersonal skills and just like being a good person and knowing how to communicate and hear others and empathize with others' wants and needs, right? Managing all those emotions. So I just think it's funny how much better of people we can become by being good Dungeons and Dragons players and good role players. Kyrie Irving. I made that joke last time. I love it. You know you've made it. You know you've made it when inside of the Forgotten Realms fandom search bar, your name carries so much weight, it comes up twice before... No, those are just ads. Never mind. Those are just ads. Kyrie still made it, though. Ooh, kind of a bounty hunter. Half-elf female. Who would still be alive. Neutral good. Ooh. Was hired by nobles from Waterdeep who needed property or personal belongings retrieved. If the price was right, she would travel from Ascor to Calmashan to find the goods. Her home was located along Horseway and Wall Street in northwest Daggerford. She's important. But do I want her to be important? Do I want her to just be like a regular person? Maybe she just does this still. No, but I bring up Mirafe frequently. We are on a half-elf female bounty hunter. She's kind of like a private mercenary. She's neutral good, so she's not like assassinating people. She like retrieves personal property and belongings. Maybe like a female Indiana Jones almost. I think she could stay. I think that's fine. I think that's totally a fine profession. And as a half elf, she gets gifted of like 150, 200 years of life. 30 here, 60. Yeah, so they've been on the back end of their life. They'd still have life left in them. 180 years. So I guess they'd be getting old. So this is what I see. I see this person as, and I kind of identified a few of these people in this aspect of like they're an older person that might have been doing important stuff 50 to 100 years ago, but they're still here and they're not doing that anymore, but they still hold all that information. So if the players ever, introduce themselves to or kind of get a relation or are looking for information, I can send them to like, oh, go check out Kyrie, the half elf, and the house over in the farmer's quarter. Back in the day, she used to be a formidable adventurer. Worked for a lot of royals too. She might have an idea who you're talking about. Something like that. And then they can go and meet Kyrie and talk to this old badass adventurer who's got some stories and puts tea on for them and has some cool swords and stuff on the walls. I just see a very cool scene that could exist from this person's history and allow them to be them and not change their character and just leave them right in the story as they're written, right? Yeah, like depending on where the party is, I'll definitely vary what their information might be. I think they have a good base of stuff about royals and like the ins and outs of the castle as they've traveled that fairly frequently. But like maybe there's a specific artifact she acquired for somebody. Depending on what the quest is or the means of the party, talking to her would be. I could leave some blank marks, some blank checks for me in the future to be used. So it's like again, like this is a point where you don't need to write a book on what you're doing, right? Leave yourself a blank check. I have an idea and a personality of what this person's supposed to do, and then I'll change what they actually do in the moment for what I need. Just be consistent with what you do when you change stuff, Make it be part of the world. Don't make it, flit and fleet every session. Daggerford is literally the city of thieves. And I might rename that. Ooh. The city of thieves I'm finding. City of Thieves. Okay, we got another badass chick on the militia here. She's gonna be like a lieutenant or something. A moon elf. Yeah, she's young. She's fierce. She leads adventures, patrols on the countryside. Okay, so we're gonna put a pin in it here because I gotta get going for lunch. But this is what I had found last time I was researching, which is just north of the castle, the fallout of the Phlotian Estates. There are orcs, elementals, and one other pit fiends. I think they're kind of like scouring the countryside. They have thrashed the Phlotian Estate, and some orcs are operating out of that old ruined elvish temple now. So those are that's what's like plaguing the countryside. So quite literally, like there will be a session where when the players are young and on the militia, like I'm gonna grab them, take them, we're going on, like it's like Attack on Titan. We gotta go outside the city walls, but like let's go. If you die, well, don't do that. Hopefully we make it back. We need to go and like literally something stupid is like we need to set up a beacon, or like we need to relay our forward beacon out in the fields. So that our patrolmen can have better vision, you know, in the nighttime, right? So it's like something mundane and stupid as just taking a torch to a beacon, and grabbing some low-ranking militia members, going with Answea, Aswanasi, we'll figure out how to pronounce that, going with her, this high-ranking lieutenant, and bringing the party out on an event. That could be 2 sessions, to be honest. You know, so like a lot of stuff is like, you get a lot of use out of like one little thing like that, right? You get a lot of use out of having this badass character that stands out and has the personality of just they lead patrols on the countryside, right? It's one sentence that can be 2-3 sessions, maybe several. Maybe there's a patrol early, and then like later as things progress, there's another patrol that they got to do, and then maybe they level up and they leave the militia, and now they have her escort them somewhere, right? They're not actually going on this patrol, but they're getting escorted somewhere by this person they used to go on patrols with. You know, a lot of growth can come out of just one sentence. So I'm gonna put a pin in it there as a good spot to leave, because I want to actually make this character, you know, delicately, and I got a couple character styles and personalities to write up. I'm getting a little behind, so thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you soon. As always, I don't really tend to stream too much on the weekends because I spend time with the family, but I might find some time to sneak on. So we'll see you later. Peace.